Before we get going, let's be clear about one thing. This essay was not written to highlight the success Julian Edelman has had during his career with the New England Patriots. This essay was produced to state Julian Edelman should be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Now the stats say no way. Absolutely not, and I can't even argue with that. First off, this guy has never made a Pro Bowl. Not one All-Star team. Also, guys like Deion Branch, Wes Welker, and Terry Glenn all had more receiving yards than Edelman, and I'm not even mentioning other names like Jeremy Maclin, Dwayne Bowe, and TJ Houshmandzadeh, all of whom had more impressive numbers. But you know the thing about receptions and receiving yards? They're stats. And you know who stats are for?
You know how I feel about stats. Really, stats are for losers. Final scores for winners. And that's really what it's about.
Now, if a legendary head coach who played an integral role in piecing together the NFL 100 all-time team roster thinks that, why shouldn't Julian Edelman be considered for the Hall of Fame? So let's forget about stats, right after I give you one more. Edelman is second all-time in playoff receiving yards, trailing only Jerry Rice. You'd be hard-pressed to find a big catch package better than Minitron's. His grab on 3rd and 14 with the Patriots down 10 in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 49 is what both dreams and nightmares are made of for an NFL wide receiver. Later in that same game, he would go on to catch the touchdown that won the championship. 2 years later, he was the one who was responsible for one of the greatest catches in the history of the Super Bowl. Then, after 10 receptions for 141 yards, Edelman was named MVP of Super Bowl 53. He threw one of the biggest touchdown passes in Patriots history, and when asked, played defense. And while Edelman was never a 4-time All-Pro, NFL 100 all-time team member, Hall of Fame-bound punt returner like Devin Hester, who was the better overall football player? And who would you rather have on your team? There's no one tougher than the squirrel, no one you'd rather live in the foxhole with. Like Steph Curry, Edelman's game and greatness is often suppressed due to his stature. That's because his bigger, more explosively athletic colleagues can't understand how a guy at his size can dominate like he does. And don't tell me he was some product of the Patriots machine. Julian Edelman is the Patriots machine. He's not only known for a big shot or two like Robert Horry in the NBA. And when Edelman was making plays and catching footballs during a playoff run, it wasn't because he caught lightning in a bottle like Eli Manning. He has consistently, year in and year out, performed at a high level for the most successful NFL franchise of all time. And when he has been a participant at receiver, the Patriots never lost a Super Bowl game. You'd be a fool to not want Julian Edelman on your team's roster. And when the time comes, that exact sentiment should be echoed by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.